Have you ever gotten a text message with a 6-digit code after logging into your bank account? That little code is doing something incredibly powerful. It's standing between your account and anyone who might have stolen your password. And today we're going to talk about exactly what that is. It's called Multi-Factor Authentication, or MFA. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why it might be the single most important security habit you can build. Let's start with the basics. MFA stands for Multi-Factor Authentication. The word multi means more than one, and factor just means a piece of proof that you are who you say you are. Think about it this way. Imagine you're trying to get into a really secure building. At the front door, the guard asks for your ID badge. That's one factor, something you have. But then they also ask you to type in a PIN code. That's a second factor, something you know. And maybe they even scan your fingerprint. That's a third factor, something you are. MFA works the same way for your online accounts. Instead of just asking for your password, which is just one factor, it asks for at least two. So even if someone steals your password, they still can't get in without that second piece of proof. The three main types of factors are something you know, like a password or PIN, something you have, like your phone or a physical security key, and something you are, like your fingerprint or face scan. Most MFA systems use two of these three. That's why you'll also hear it called two-factor authentication, or 2FA. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Passwords are broken. Not because they're a bad idea in theory, but because of how humans actually use them in the real world. Studies show that over 80% of data breaches involve weak or stolen passwords. People reuse the same password across dozens of websites. They pick easy-to-guess passwords like their pet's name or their birthday, and hackers know this. There are entire criminal marketplaces on the dark web where billions of stolen username and password combinations are bought and sold for pennies. If you've ever used the same password on two different websites and one of those websites got hacked, your password is probably already out there. Hackers also use something called phishing. That's when they send you a fake email or text that looks like it's from your bank or Netflix or Google, and they trick you into typing your password into a fake website. It looks completely real. You'd never know. And then there's brute force attacks, where automated software just tries millions of password combinations per second until it finds the right one. Short or simple passwords can be cracked in seconds. This is exactly why MFA is so powerful. Even if a hacker gets your password through any of these methods, they still need that second factor. And that second factor is usually something only you have access to, like your phone. Let's walk through exactly what happens when you log in with MFA turned on. Step 1, you go to a website and type in your username and password, just like normal. Step 2, instead of letting you straight in, the website says, "Hold on, we need to verify it's really you." It sends a 6-digit code to your phone via text message, or it asks you to open an authenticator app on your phone. Step 3, you look at your phone, see the code, and type it into the website. This code is only valid for about 30 to 60 seconds, and it changes every time. Step 4, the website confirms the code matches, and now you're in. The magic here is timing and possession. The code expires so fast that even if someone intercepted it, it would be useless by the time they tried to use it. And the code goes to your phone. So unless the hacker also has your physical phone in their hands, they're locked out. There are a few different ways MFA can deliver that second factor. The most common is SMS text messages. a code sent to your phone number. It's convenient, but it's actually the weakest form of MFA because phone numbers can be hijacked through something called SIM swapping. A much stronger option is an authenticator app. Apps like Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, or Authy generate time-based codes right on your phone. No internet connection needed. These are much harder to intercept. Even stronger are hardware security keys, small physical devices that plug into your computer's USB port. You just tap the key and you're in. These are nearly impossible to hack remotely. And then there's biometrics, your fingerprint or face scan. Your phone already uses this when you unlock it. More and more apps are using biometrics as a second factor too. The good news is that MFA is available on almost every major platform right now, and it's usually free to set up. Let me walk you through the most important places to turn it on. Start with your email account. Your email is the master key to everything else online. If someone gets into your email, they can reset the password on every other account you have. Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo, they all support MFA. Go to your account security settings and turn it on today. Next, your social media accounts. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of them support MFA. Go to settings, find security or privacy, and look for two-factor authentication. Your bank and financial accounts. Most banks now offer MFA and some require it. If yours doesn't, call them and ask. This is your money we're talking about. Shopping accounts like Amazon, your saved credit card information is in there. Protect it. And any work accounts, especially if you work remotely. Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, Slack, Zoom all support MFA. Your employer may even require it. The process is usually the same everywhere. Go to account settings, find security or privacy. Look for two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication and follow the steps. It takes about 2 minutes. I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds like a hassle. Let me address the most common objections I hear. Myth number 1, it's too complicated. Setting up MFA takes about 2 minutes. Using it takes about 5 extra seconds per login. That's it. Most apps remember your device after the first time, so you only need the second factor when you log in from a new device or browser. Myth number 2, I have nothing worth protecting. This one really gets me. Everyone has something worth protecting. Your email contains years of personal conversations. Your social media has photos of your family. Your bank account has your savings. Your identity is worth protecting even if you don't feel like a target. Myth number 3, hackers will find a way around it anyway. Yes, no security is perfect, but MFA stops the vast majority of automated attacks code. Microsoft published research showing that MFA blocks over 99.9% of account compromise attacks. That's not perfect, but it's about as close as you can get. Myth number 4, what if I lose my phone? Great question. Every service that offers MFA also gives you backup codes when you set it up. Write those down and store them somewhere safe, like a locked drawer or a password manager. You can also set up multiple authentication methods as backups. Let's bring it all together. Multi-factor authentication is simply requiring more than one proof of identity before letting someone into your account. It combines something you know, something you have, or something you are. Passwords alone are not enough in today's world. They get stolen, guessed, and leaked constantly. MFA adds a second lock on the door, and that second lock stops the overwhelming majority of attacks. The most important thing you can do right now is go enable MFA on your email account. That one action will dramatically improve your security posture. then work your way through your other important accounts. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to this channel. We break down cybersecurity topics in plain English every week. No jargon, no technical background required. And if you want to learn more about how to protect yourself and your business online, visit us at bkhabvoice.com.